You're at a family dinner. Your uncle leans back, smirks, and says the sentence that ruins every holiday. So, when are you going to get a real job? Everyone laughs. Your fork stops halfway to your mouth. Your face goes hot. Somewhere in your brain, a switch flips. You have exactly three options right now. Option 1, you laugh it off and hate yourself for it later. Option 2, you snap back, the table goes quiet, and now you're the dramatic one. Option 3, the one almost nobody knows exists, you say three words. Just three. And the entire power in that room flips to you without raising your voice, without an insult, without even really saying anything at all. I'm going to give you those three words in this video. But if I tell you now, you'll skip ahead and miss the reason they work. And without understanding why, you'll say them wrong at the wrong moment and they'll backfire on you. So stay with me because by the end of this video, we're coming back to that dinner table and this time, you're the one holding the power. Here's what almost nobody tells you about being disrespected. Your reaction isn't a personality flaw, it's a hostage situation happening inside your own skull. The second someone insults you in public, your brain treats it exactly like a physical attack. Not exactly like. Literally the same circuitry. Same amygdala spike, same cortisol dump. Your body doesn't know the difference between a lion and your uncle at Thanksgiving. And here's the part that explains every single I should have said something moment of your life, the part of your brain that produces clever comebacks. Your prefrontal cortex goes offline during a threat response. It's not that you're not quick enough, it's that your brain has decided in that half second that thinking is a luxury it can't afford. That's why the perfect response always shows up in the shower. 3 hours too late. The threat is gone, so your brain finally lets the smart part come back online. Once you know this, something interesting happens. You stop being angry at yourself for freezing. You start getting curious about how to work around it instead. And that's exactly what we're building for the next 8 minutes. But there's a twist here that changes everything. And it's the twist most self-help videos never mention. Almost every video on this topic tells you to stay calm and control your emotions. That advice is technically true and almost useless. Telling a drowning person to just breathe normally doesn't help them float. Here's what actually works instead. You don't fight the freeze, you use it. Because the freeze buys you something valuable, silence. And silence, used on purpose, is the single most disorienting thing you can hand back to someone who just insulted you. Most people who disrespect you are running on a script. They expect a reaction within 1, maybe 2 seconds, anger, an excuse, a nervous laugh. When that reaction doesn't come, when there's nothing, their script breaks in real time in front of everyone watching. You're not going to learn to stop freezing. You're going to learn to turn the freeze into a weapon. And that starts with a single move I call the pause flip. Here's exactly how it works. The moment you're disrespected, instead of racing to respond, you do the opposite of what your panic tells you to do. You slow your exhale, hold eye contact, and count to 4 in your head before you say a single word. 4 seconds feels like an eternity in conversation. That's the point. While you're counting, something happens to the room. People start glancing at the person who insulted you, not at you, because silence after an insult reads as strength and rushing to defend yourself reads as guilt, even when you've done nothing wrong. Then, after that pause, you don't attack. You don't defend. You ask one quiet question. Wait, say that again? Not confused, not aggressive, just curious, like you genuinely didn't catch it. Watch what this does. The person now has to repeat the insult out loud a second time with everyone's attention now fully on them instead of you. Most people can't do it. The words that felt easy to toss out the first time suddenly feel heavy the second time in the silence with eyes on them. This alone handles maybe half of the people who disrespect you. But some people will repeat it word for word without flinching. Those are the ones who need technique too. And this is where the 3 words from the beginning of this video come in. The 3 words are, that's a choice. That's it. No tone, no sarcasm, no volume. Just flat, calm, almost bored. Your uncle says, when are you going to get a real job? The table laughs. You pause. You hold eye contact. And you say, that's a choice. Not, that's a choice you're making to say that. Just those 3 words hanging there. Unfinished on purpose. Here's why this destroys almost any insult thrown at you. It doesn't argue with the content of what they said. It comments on the fact that they chose to say it at all, in front of people, out loud, to your face. It quietly reframes the entire moment from what's wrong with you to what's wrong with the fact that you said that. And because the sentence is incomplete, it leaves a gap. Human brains cannot stand an unfinished thought. Everyone at that table is now mentally finishing your sentence for you. That's a choice. To be rude, that's a choice. To embarrass yourself, and you never had to say any of it. You let their own imagination do the insulting for you. This technique has one rule you cannot break. You must never explain it further. The second you add, To be so rude, you've handed control right back to them because now you're arguing instead of observing. 3 words. Then silence again. That silence is doing more work than any comeback ever could. But what happens if they push back on you? If they say, excuse me, or try to twist it around? That's where most people panic and lose everything they just built. So here's the rule that saves it. If they push back, you do not escalate and you do not retreat. You repeat the exact same 3 words in the exact same tone, like a recording. Excuse me? What did you just say to me? That's a choice. That's the whole move. No new material, no justification. This is called the mirror hold, and it's borrowed from something hostage negotiators use constantly. When you repeat a calm phrase without adding fuel, the other person is forced to either escalate alone, which makes them look unhinged in front of everyone, or drop it entirely, which makes them look like they lost. There is no third option for them. That's what makes this so effective. You've removed every exit except the 2 that make you look calm and them look like the problem. And here's something almost nobody notices. The people watching this exchange, the rest of the table, the rest of the room remember tone, not content. They won't remember the exact words days from now. They'll remember that you were the calm one and the other person wasn't. That memory is worth more than any clever comeback you could have delivered in the heat of the moment. Now, everything I've just given you works close to perfectly for 90% of situations. But there's a specific type of person these techniques barely touch. And if you don't know how to spot them, you'll walk straight into a trap. Some people don't disrespect you by accident, and they're not looking for a reaction. They're looking for a reason to keep going. With these people, the pause flip and the mirror hold won't shut things down. They'll just make the person switch tactics and come at you differently because your calm isn't disarming them. It's frustrating them. And frustrated people who are already looking for a fight tend to escalate somewhere you can't control with words. If you use everything in this video and the person keeps pushing anyway, that's your answer. Not a reason to try harder. A reason to leave the conversation entirely without announcing it, without a dramatic exit line, just calmly stepping away. Leaving a conversation you were never going to win is not losing. It's the only move left that still keeps your dignity intact. Let's go back to that dinner table. Your uncle says, "So, when are you going to get a real job?" The table laughs. This time, you don't answer right away. You take one slow breath. You hold his eyes for 4 full seconds while the laughter dies down on its own, because laughter always needs a reaction to feed on, and you're not feeding it. Then, quietly, "That's a choice." He blinks. "What?" You don't explain. You just look at him, calm, and repeat it exactly the same way. "That's a choice." Someone at the table clears their throat. Someone else suddenly finds their plate very interesting. And your uncle, for the first time maybe ever, is the one who doesn't know what to say next. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't insult him. You didn't even really say anything specific. You just handed the silence back to the person who started it and let it do what it always does. Expose whoever can't survive inside it. You won't get this perfect the first time you try it, and that's fine. The goal isn't to win every exchange, it's to stop leaving every exchange wishing you'd said something. Start small. Try the 4-second pause the next time someone cuts you off in a meeting. You don't even need the 3 words yet. The pause alone will change how people treat you. If you want the follow-up on how to use this exact same silence in text messages and arguments with people you actually love, that's a very different game, and I'll cover it in the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it and tell me below. Which technique are you trying first? The pause flip, the 3 words, or the mirror hold? I'll see you in the next one.